Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Joshua Sully Ruka here, your host of the Impact Podcast Show. Now, before I introduce our next special guest on the Impact Podcast Show, I'd like to say thank you. I'd like to say thank you to everyone that has jumped on board, whether you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, or even through YouTube. I want to say thank you all for tuning in. You had the choice to not listen to this, but you chose to, so thank you so much for that. And before I actually really get into this podcast, I always love to state our mission. And our mission is simple. Our mission is to impact the one. So our main focus is just to impact at least one life out there. Instead of focusing on the many, we like to focus on the few. So I just wanted to share that before we start. But in saying that, I want to tell you guys a small story as to how I got a hold of these fine-looking women. My sister over here and my auntie. But I want to show you guys a quick story. So a couple of weeks ago, I ended up interviewing Cheeky, who is Eddie. And he's one of the boys to me, one of the close boys around. And funny enough, these two women end up doing a reaction video to it, and honestly, I was cracking up more towards them than the actual video. And I just love their chemistry that they have together. They're actually a family, and I'm curious to know how they do it, how they do the reactions, the music reaction, the music videos reactions. And I'm always about learning more on the heart, the heart behind why they do what they do. And so I get the opportunity and the honors to have them on the Impact Podcast Show. So guys, would you like to share a bit about who you guys are?
Yeah, so our channel is called WYF CaityB, and we do reactions. So when I started off my channel, I started off doing mukbang. I started doing vlogs and stuff like that. And later on, when we went to Polytube Fono last year, a lot of people brought up the idea of doing reaction videos of my mum, because when they meet my mum, they reckon she's pretty straight up.
Yeah.
So I've been
hey, I love it. I love it.
Yeah, so we've been bringing it up as well. She should do reactions, because when we watch certain things, her reactions over the top, you know what I mean? So I reckon that if we did start doing reaction videos, it'll be a good thing, because I know she's straight up, she's honest. I think it's something that people could really, benefit from. So that's when we started doing reactions, maybe September last year, November. And we just went off from there, just only reacting to polys. Just to promote our polys out there.
Yeah, nice. And so, sorry, I forgot to say, can you guys state your names, just for those that don't know you?
Oh, yeah. So my name's Caitlyn, and
I'm Sim.
Yep. So this is my Mumma B, and I'm her daughter.
Honestly, I'm excited, guys. I'm so excited. This is probably my first time getting a family on here. I've brought a bit of my family on board, but I've never actually had a mother and a daughter on here, so this is real special to me. I'm a really family focused man, and I'm always about family first, and I'm so excited to get into the story as to who you guys are, what you guys do, and what made you start doing the music reactions. And so we're gonna get started, and I guess the first thing I want to ask is can you tell us a bit about your just a bit about your story, about your upbringing. I know that mum's right next to you, but I guess Caitlyn, could you share to us a bit about about your story, about I guess how you guys were raised, or your upbringing?
Oh, my upbringing it's always just been me and my mom, her brother, his wife, and my grandpa. So rest in peace to my grandpa who passed away. It's I'm gonna say I've had quite a lucky upbringing. I can't say that I've had any big issues, compared to a lot of families out there. I've been quite lucky, pretty privileged as well. I've had anything I've ever needed, anything I've ever wanted, and stuff like that, which I'm grateful for. I'm not too sure what else to say.
I'll jump in there. She's my only child, so I try to do the best that I can with her, for her, and but at the same time, discipline is the main thing for me, because growing up, we were born and raised in Otara, Auckland, New Zealand. So I've seen a lot of things happen around us. So there's always been a fear in me of what would happen if she went out of the door and into the world. And I've always tried to be as disciplined as I can, And she's had her fair share of hidings, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not the fact that I discipline her that way too, but
I'm grateful.
I'm glad that I have, because the way I see her now is I'm very, very grateful that she's very clingy. I mean, clingy to that. I'm not here to brag or anything, but I'm just grateful.
Yeah.
To have my child the way she is with people, and just is not into stuff that what we see today.
Yeah.
The dangers out there now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that I've been hidden from a lot of, with those stuff like that's happening on the street, like gangs and killings and stuff like that. I was really closed in from that. Like I didn't really know much about it, despite living in Tara. So I was really quite lucky. I didn't know much about it.
Never had to go do sleepovers much or anything. I forbid that. I trust her being at home than out there.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that you shared that, because like I think there's a real importance when it comes to discipline. Especially as a mother yourself, like it all stems from you. Like it all stems from, like, in terms of discipline. Caitlyn wouldn't be the way she is now with the help of her mum. And I take, like, I don't say that lightly, because like that's the same as my mum. Like my mum's the same too. She was a single parent. She raised 5 kids on her own. Yeah. So like, everyone has a story, and that's the reason why I love doing this. This is the reason why I love the Impact Podcast Show. I just pretty much just like talk to people of all walks of life. I talk to people. I talk to my own people, as in like our poly family, and then I also talk to the Balangi family. Like I always like to keep it well broad, because I guess this gives people a opportunity to see things differently, to see different from a different perspective. And like, let's be real, us polys are pretty good at judging. And so, you know what I mean? I'm being straight up,
What man would be getting?
100%. And so, like, as a result, like, I wanted to, start a podcast show that people can listen to be like, this is the real story behind, let's say, a Balangi, or this is the real story behind a Polynesian. And so, in my mind, I'm like, oh, it's not going to work out at the start. It's going to take a while. I need to people need to just come in and listen through, and then they'll start to see the trend. And so it's cool. Like, I love that you guys shared your story. And even about the environment that you guys were in. And so, did you guys want to share a bit about how Otara was, growing up?
Probably good for you to answer this, because I'm not too. I was more closed in.
Yeah. Well, how would I say? Really, my parents, starting from where my parents are, they immigrated to New Zealand in the 60s. So they were there during the bunga, the dawn raid moments, and the bunga, all the racism then, and then we moved out. They moved out of central Auckland to Otara, as with all the other polys that moved out. They were all moved into Otara. So it was okay then, but then a lot of, I think it's just influence from watching a lot of American movies and a lot of violence and that. And, it's not all the young ones, but there are some young that tend to follow that trend and copy what they see on TV and adapt it to everyday life. But there was a lot of gangs there. I'm not going to deny it. A lot of gangs around in the area, a lot of drugs. But we were privileged.
It was safe, eh?
Yeah, I was glad, because I had strict parents. I mean, really strict parents. So, like all of us young ones. Yeah, so we saw it, but we couldn't do anything because we were too scared to go out there and join it, because you'd be more scared of your parents. Than going out there. It was it's pretty rough, but not as rough.
From what people say, it's not exactly like that. It's definitely safe. It was definitely a neighborhood for us. Like, especially me growing up, we could leave the car open, we could leave the door open. It didn't feel like that, but for people outside, they would have felt like, oh, look.
Intimidated.
Yeah.
It was more the struggles. Us going through struggles and stuff.
Yeah, wow. Yeah, because like, because at the moment, like, I live in Sydney, and like, I was born and raised in Fairfield. I don't know if you guys know where Fairfield is. But like it's like Fairfield was similar to Otara, like in terms of the environment. Like when I was growing up, like I had no clue that there was like all gangs and stuff happening. And like my mom done a similar thing. Like she didn't really enclose, like, you know, she didn't do the enclosing thing. She just told us, stay home. Like just simply just stay home. Like it's all good. And like just like go to school, come home. And then like there was some moments where I was questioning, I was like, I wonder why that's the case. Like I wonder why. And then I started to realize that like a lot of my cousins were, you know, in gangs or, you know, they're doing, you know, either doing drugs or selling. And then I had no clue. And my mom was just like, just come home. Like she wouldn't say don't do this. She'd just say just come home instead. And yeah, we had to listen. Like we knew straight away. Like if you didn't listen, you're gonna get a hiding.
It's hard because the peer pressure out there.
Yeah.
She used to come home and go, "Oh, mum, can I have an iPad?" Or "Mum, and I'm there." Yeah. "Oh, pack your bags, get out."
Yeah.
She did it once.
She was like 10 years old, and she came home and she goes, "Oh, mum, my friend's got an iPad. Can I have an iPad?" And I go, right. I just walked in the room, packed her bags, and go out the door, pushed out the door, closed the door, and I was, please don't leave, please don't, just stay there. I should have left me.
No, man, I laugh about that, man. I laugh because my mom, like, I'll tell you guys a quick story. So what my mom had done, like we were like young as, right? And I don't know if you guys remember, like a Nintendo 64. Do you remember? Yeah. So like my mom, that's like my mom's favorite console. Was the Nintendo 64, and like what happened was like, you know, we're being smart with my mom, you know, being cheeky, and then my mom got it and she smashed it. Yeah, she just smashed it in the ground. We're like, oh, true, like, yeah, that's salty as.
100%.
It's like the iPad situation, you know, but like instead of like we actually had a Nintendo 64 and she broke it, and I was like, oh yeah, like my mom's serious.
But it's called tough love.
Yeah, 100. Like, you know, I always like, you know, when I was growing up, you know, with my mom, I was always like, why is she always hard on us? You know, like why is she always hard? But you know, I learned now. I'm like, man, there is kids out there, and like if I had to be real, I reckon there's like young adults out there that are still a kid. You know, that are still children at the moment. They haven't, you know, breaking that barrier of like, you know, being independent. And as I always say, it always stems from, you know, your parents, like, you know, discipline too. And so I reckon, yeah, good on you, mom. Like, good on you for, you know, disciplining 100%. Yeah. And so I guess from now, one thing I love doing on this is like, you know, going into the root. I always believe that, you know, there's a fruit and then there's a root. The fruit for you is your, you know, your reactions, right? Your music videos. But I reckon there's a more, like, you know, in terms of the heart, there's always more to it. And so I want to go on a journey. That's one thing I love doing, is I love going on a journey, and like I like to keep it like real, authentic, but also comfortable. You know, comfortable for you guys to jump on board. And so I guess the first question I want to ask to you guys is you know, what were like the struggles that you guys had, you know, growing up? You know, I like, we did share a bit about your story, but what was like kind of the struggles that you had grown? Because I know that, Caitlyn, you mentioned that like you know, you were enclosed. You know, you were in a position where you know, you weren't exposed to a lot of things outside in terms of the environment. But what were like some of the struggles? Because I believe that, you know, before the glory, there's always a story. You know, before there's moments where you actually succeed, there's always a story behind it. And so, you know, in a story, there's usually a struggle or like a fallback. And so, you know, if you're comfortable, would you kind of share to us, you know, some of the struggles that you went through?
Struggles growing up, eh?
Yeah.
With you.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't had.
Even that, it may not be like a external, but maybe an internal. Like that's, you know, I'll give you an example. Like for me, like when I was growing up, like I had a stuttering problem. Like I would find it hard to speak, and I'd always like, you know, and I realized it was all based on self-confidence. I wasn't really confident in myself, and so that was a big struggle that I had internally. And that's the reason why I love doing podcasts and I love talking a lot. Is because I know how it feels not to. So that could be something. You know, I feel like we all struggle with something inwardly, but Yeah, like that's the question I wanted to ask. Was there like anything that you guys struggle? If you don't, it's okay. But I always feel like there's always been like some sort of a fallback or a low light that you would have to experience in order to get to where you are.
I think my main struggle is just talking to people.
Yeah, especially now.
It's so much easier in front of the camera.
Yeah.
You don't have that, and then as soon as we step out the door and people are looking, we go,
Yeah.
just smile.
Oh, I'm so bad. Like my face is always like. But when I was younger, I felt like I had a lot more confidence.
Mm.
I felt like I was a lot more confident when I was younger. But then when I started getting social media and just those what do you call it? Those expectations. When I started joining social media, and I was quite young when I joined social media. You know, my mum got me a phone when I was quite young, just so she could keep tabs on when I was walking home if I was safe and stuff like that. So when I started getting social media, I started seeing expectations and online bullies and stuff like that, and I felt like then my confidence started going down, and it sort of probably explains why I am probably a different person in camera, but outside I'm really shy. I find it hard to approach people, but I guess once I am approached, like I'm easy. I love to talk and stuff like that, but I'm actually really quite shy in person. Yeah, but other than that, I can't think of any struggles that I've had growing up.
Probably because I've sheltered you from all of the stuff.
Yeah.
She's grown up being an only child. She grew up around us adults.
Yeah.
So she got to experience like music from different eras and genres and like that. Because I'm more into soft metal and rock and stuff like that. My brother's more into rap and country. My dad, her grandfather used to be into Samoan. So she's growing up like around a lot different kinds of music, and
I feel
we've
like
been very overprotective of her.
Yeah.
Like, where one fails, someone else picks up. Like if I tell her, my grandpa's always in there, or my brother's in there. Sorry.
Nah, it's all good.
Yeah.
I feel like there was never a part in my life where anyone as I said, I don't think I've had any struggles really.
No, that's fine. Like I think
was growing up in poverty.
Yeah.
I think probably the way I grew up with my struggles, I've tried to not put that on her.
Yes.
I've never
and she was always said that,
before, so it's
if she were to spoil me, she'd be like, think of the kids, that are struggling.
Yeah.
And I sort of learn from that and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's so cool because like from what I'm hearing, mum learnt lessons and mum went through the struggles and she said, I'm not gonna let this happen to my daughter. That's what I hear. Yeah.
You really got a stump on that one.
Yeah, no, it's okay. No, I love it. I love that you guys were, just your reaction, Then this is not a music video, but it's a podcast reaction. No, but I love it. Like just the way that you guys had reacted. I was like, yeah, wow. Like I guess they haven't really thought about that, which is totally fine. Like that is totally fine. But when you have questions like this that come up to you, you're like, oh wow, I actually never thought about that.
Yeah.
Which is really cool because then you guys can actually think, okay, what other struggles that I've actually gone through?
One of my struggles, but you don't seem to know.
My memory's really bad, so I'm really trying to think deep, like about struggles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
She was like, if she comes home moody, I know straight away something's happened.
Yep.
And then I get her sit down and talk.
Yeah.
Like, you have to have that relationship where she can trust you and feel comfortable to open up to you. I've always said to her, I'm not only your mother, I can be your best friend. You can open up and tell me anything. I'm here for you.
Yeah.
So she's always known that.
Yeah.
She can always chuck it on me because this one wears her heart on her sleeve.
Yeah.
She wanted to be a social worker, but I just said no.
I didn't think I'd be able to do that.
I was crying before they even get into
the story.
No, I love that. I love that you shared that because, like for me, like I actually left. I was doing social work, so I'm actually a wellbeing officer. So I work in a primary school, yeah. So don't you worry, I have the same issue too. You know, I get so sentimental. But I had to learn how to like, you know, compose myself. You know, with my partner, she says like you're the biggest softie. You know, and I get that. I get that from my mum. You know, my mum. You know, like I would say like out of everyone in my family, and everyone would say this. Like I'm probably like a mirror image to my mum. You know, and like the way, like I reckon if my mum had to change her kind of story, I reckon she'd be like a really good social worker. You know, she always loves helping people, and she's really good at composing herself too. That's for sure. Yeah, 100%. Mums are really good, man, when it comes to that. Yeah, and so yeah, I can just see in your relationship right now that yeah, if it wasn't for mum and actually mum saying to herself, "Oh, I'm not gonna let this happen," you know, Caitlyn wouldn't be the person that she is. So, shout out to mum. You know, shout out to mum, and even out to all the mums out there too. Like, I feel like you know they don't get the credit. You know, some of the kids, yeah, so, yeah, like you know, kids just come home. Oh, hey mum, what's up? And then do nothing. Like, I guess you know, the only time that people actually start really feeling grateful is when mum's either in hospital or they're sick, or you know things aren't like the way they go. So you know, I want to encourage everyone out there. You know, if you have a mum or even that dad too, like you know, for the parents, you know, I reckon you know just tell them that you love them. You know, it won't. Honestly, guys, 100%.
They don't expect much, but just to hear your child say "I love you, mum," that's all you really. That's all I really want. And but for me, just to see them happy.
Yeah.
I don't want you to go buy me expensive stuff and all that. I want you to save. All I want is here's that you're happy. I love you is nice to you.
Yeah, she barely let me spoil her, eh? She'll just give me a hiding. I'm like, what? I don't understand, man.
Nah, yeah. So yeah, I love this. Like, I love how the podcast is going because you know, I was thinking like before I jumped on, I was thinking like Josh, do you realize that this is like a rare thing? You know, this is a rare thing that you're seeing right now, you know, a mother and daughter. And I feel like there are people out there probably listening that have a struggle with their parents. They don't have the relationship that you have, you know, the type bond that you have. And so, mum, I want to ask you, mum, first. You know, I want to ask you, you know, what made you, you know, what made you so, I want to say protective of your daughter, but what made you kind of build this relationship with your daughter? Because it could have gone a different way. You know, it could have been like, you know, you'll just tell Caitlyn just to go to school, come home, don't really talk to her, or you might be on your phone all the time and, you know, not caring about, you know, your daughter and just be like, yeah, you'll be fine. But what made you kind of cling on, you know, and, you know, really have that tight bond with your daughter, Caitlyn?
Okay. Back in the days, my mum used to work afternoon shift and my dad day shift. So I hardly got to see my parents, you know, go to school, come home, mum's not there. So I kind of missed that relationship once my mum died. So, and hearing people say, oh, my mum's a blah, 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 you know, not being grateful just made me miss my mum even more.
Yeah.
So being, like, I grew up and I thought, once I had this one, my mum's words came to mind. My mum used to always say, you wait till you have kids. Once I had this one, boom, it was in front of me like, oh my gosh, just struggles of being a single mother, trying to, no mother there to tell me how to change a nappy, it was a crash course for me. So, and then growing up, getting older with this one, when I started going to work, once she was all right to stay home with my dad and go to kindy, opening the door after work and seeing her run to you and go, Mom, that's the biggest feeling a mother could ever have. Seeing their kids like just opening the door after a long day and your kid come running to you, it just breaks my heart. Like, but then growing up and seeing stuff like on the news, what's happening, the violence, the gangs, the drugs. I didn't want my daughter going down that way. I wanted her to choose her path and learn from her mistakes. But with me, they're helping to guide her. I don't want her to learn from my mistakes. I wanted her to learn from her mistakes.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the line, she got a bit really clingy and doesn't go out there anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just scared to worry her, to be honest. Like, I know with a lot of things going on, I don't want to worry my mum going out, because I know what it's like for females going out and stuff. Like, it just ain't safe. And, just giving my mum that peace of mind, it's the least I could do.
Yeah. And then, thank you.
Wow.
Then, I got into a relationship a few years back, and my biggest regret was that relationship. I know there's two sides to every story, but this is my side.
Yep.
And I neglected my daughter.
Oh, wow.
With the relationship, I put him first before her.
Oh, wow.
And, it was just toxic. And so, just to cut that short, I got out of that relationship, and that was my goal since then. My daughter comes first no matter what.
Yeah.
I'm never going to let anyone change that for me. And this is me making up for those years.
Yeah. No, I love it. Like, this is the reason why I do the podcast. Yeah. Like, this is the reason why. Like, these are the truth. These are the real, authentic, stories. And I feel like people need to hear this, right? I feel like there are kids out there or young people, maybe listening to this, and they're not realizing how important or how much a mother and a father would do for their kids. And like, for me, I learned through my experience with my mum. Like, I didn't realize how much my mum had done until I until I started growing up, and I started to realize I had to take things to my own hands. Like, I had to do things my own way. And crazy enough, I still ask my mum. Like, I'm 22 years old right now, and I'm still living with mum, and I ain't afraid of that, right?
Yeah, I ain't.
You know what I mean? Like,
with my mum.
You said it, not me. We loved it. If we had it our way, you guys will stay with us forever.
Yeah.
And you guys need to be independent.
100%.
To find your foot in this world, and because we're not going to be around, we may not be here tomorrow. That's the biggest worry for us. Is how are you guys going to carry on with life?
Yeah. No, 100%. Yeah, no. And like, yeah, as I mentioned, like, this is the reason why we do what we do, for the podcast. Like, it's all about sharing stories. But I reckon for me, like, the one really thought I have in my head is, like, just make it, like, comfortable for them to share, if I just got you guys to share straight away, you'd be like, oh, this is awkward. You know what I mean? But yeah, like, I love it. I love the realness that you're sharing, Mum. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there, as I mentioned, young people listening to this, not realizing, they don't see the full gratitude and full potential of themselves, and even just like not feeling as grateful. Yeah, as you mentioned, they don't realize that.
They see the struggles their parents are going through.
100%.
Trying to put food on the table, a roof over their heads, and they don't see that. And it's something that us parents keep to ourselves. We don't want to burden our kids, but we try to make do with what we have and try to get by daily.
Yeah. I'm actually curious. I just had a thought. Yeah, I just had a thought. Because I didn't watch your full video of Cheeky Boys, but did you cry at some stage?
I almost
did. I think he almost did,
yeah. Because he got me from the beginning.
I found, because like in my head I'm like thinking, like, because you were talking about, and you're getting emotional, I'm like, wait, I reckon she would have got emotional on his story, because I did.
I get emotional watching a lot of relatable content.
Yeah.
Cheeky got me from the start when he got out of bed and knelt.
Yeah.
Down on the floor and started praying. That got me straight away.
It's something we do every day.
Yeah.
Be grateful, wake up and count your blessings.
I love that. I love that you share that, because I feel like the physical way of actually going on your knees, I think, like, for me, like, I do that too, like I'm always on my knees, and I think to myself, there's a difference between standing and praying as opposed to going on your knees. There's a lot of humility towards it, and like what Cheeky done, in that video, and even just the whole thing across, like, people don't realize, like, I told him this, I was like, bro, you don't realize how much of an emotional roller coaster it is, your song. And it was cool because he jumped on and he shared his story.
Yeah.
Like he shared his story as to what actually came about on how he started it and what made him create the song. Like it was a last minute thing for him.
Yeah.
And I'm like to him, like, you never like what I learned from from his first single was like sometimes in life, like, you know, you gotta let go, let God. Like, let's be real here. And that's what he did. And he shared that like without you know, he wasn't hesitant on it. He's like, bro, honestly, like I had to do thing on his strength. Like this was literally me saying I can't do anything without you. And I was like, man, that's amazing. Like there's power in that. But yeah, I just had that thought. I was like, oh, you know, I have a feeling that she would have got emotional, but anyways, back to this. But now what I want to do is I want to ask Caitlyn. I want to ask you, yeah. I want to ask you, sis. I wanted to ask you, like, you know, what made you, you know, have this tight bond with your mum?
Just because, you know, she's my only parent, and just knowing the age that her mum passed away is pretty close to the age she is at now. So, like, I know, I'm just saying, you know, I know a lot of people, a lot of the friends that I have didn't have much close relationships with their parents, and that's what I wanted to build with my mum. You know, she's my only parent. Who knows if she's gonna pass away today, tomorrow? So I want to like make the most of it. You know what I mean? And she just means a lot to me. Like,
life's too short.
Yeah.
You can't dwell on the past. You got to live the moment and count your blessings.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I can see Mum and Caitlyn, 100%.
Oh man,
Nah, it's good.
Like apple didn't fall far from the tree.
Nah, it's all good. I love this. You know, these are moments that I'll remember. You know, these moments of us, you know, jumping on this, and I'm excited. I'm excited for you guys because, like, you know, I'm thankful that you guys shared on your struggles. You know, I'm thankful that you shared on your why. Because I feel like this is the reason why you do all this stuff. You know, when I was watching your videos, when I was watching your reactions, I started to see that there was more to it. You know, there's a reason why they continue to do this each video, because let's be real here, like we always have, like, you know, little beef against our parents sometimes, and you know, sometimes we might be you know, upset or angry at, you know, after coming from school or uni or whatnot, or even work, you know, and I always think to myself, okay, it's always a choice, right? It's always a choice. You make the decisions on how you would react. Like we all fall short, you know, we all make mistakes, but it's like, okay, what do you do about it? And so I love this. I love this relationship that you guys have, and I'm so thankful that you guys actually jumped on board. And so I want to get into, you know, because I feel like we went too deep. And it's like, we'll lift it up. We'll lift it up because, like, for me, one thing I'm real hesitant on is like I can go real deep, and I'm like, oh nah, it's okay. I'll just go back up, you know, come back to the surface. And I guess, you know, my question to you guys is like, you know, what's some of the things that you guys are grateful for? You know, like you did share a bit about, you know, waking up and counting your blessings and just being like really, like, feeling really grateful. So yeah, talk to us. Like, what's been some of the things that you guys been really grateful for?
Mine's always been my family. Like, I love my family so much. There's, like, you know, a bunch of people that mean a lot to me, and just for anything to happen to them would, you know, break my heart. So my family, just the job, being able to work up some income just to help us, you know, get through each week and stuff like that. What else? Yeah, waking up every day.
I'm grateful. I'm just grateful for life itself. Grateful for my daughter, for the person that she is. I'm really proud of the person she is.
Yeah.
A lot of people, like you said before, there's a lot of judgment within our people.
Yeah.
But to me, yeah, it gets to me every now and then, especially not if they judge me, but if they judge my daughter.
Yeah.
That's what gets me the most. But I got to remember, they don't know us. They're not walking in our shoes. They're not paying our bills. They're not doing the reactions.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at the end of the day, God comes first, second.
Yeah.
That matters. If we're gonna live life wondering what people are thinking and saying, like, we're not gonna move forward. We really aren't. And that's why I really emphasize on this poly movement.
And
I
positivity and
help
stuff
people,
like that.
just get them up there.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Help our poly people out. Think outside the box. Think what it will do for yourself.
Yeah, but
think of what it represents.
Yeah.
I think that's another thing I'm grateful for our platform as well, just that we're able to use the platform to promote our people, get whether it's poly businesses, their music and stuff like that. We're such a talented group of people, and it's just awesome that we can do that for our people. If it can help one person, as you say, that's all we want to do.
Yeah. Well, funny enough, people don't realize with the special guests, they impact me. You know, I'm listening to your stories and I'm like, far out, I'm getting hit onto it, and I love this. Yeah, I love that you guys are sharing this and the the things that you guys are grateful for, because this is the thing, right? Like I say to people, like, if you had woken up, right? If you wake up and you say 3 things that you're grateful for, that will literally change the trajectory of the day, like the whole day. You wake up and you say, these are the 3 things I'm grateful for. And when it comes to, during the day, I don't know about you guys, but, this sometimes happens to me. I'm driving my car and then a guy just, cuts me up and I'll be like, yo, what's up? What's the go? But then obviously because, I started my day off well, thinking, okay, like, I'm so grateful for this. It doesn't faze me because I'm like, that's only a little issue. I'm so grateful that I get to live in a house. Even with a stable income, like I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful for my mum that she's still alive, because some people don't have mums out there, and so that's the reason why I wanted to ask you guys that question, was because some people they'll start something like what you guys are doing, doing music reactions, music video reactions, or even just doing vlogs and other things like that, but then there's a time where they start to feel like it becomes stagnant. Like it just becomes like, oh, I'm just doing this, like, and that's why I always say to people, like, always remember your why, like always remember why you're doing it, because that will literally change, like the way, like that will lift you up. You'll be like, oh, that's the reason why I do the music videos. Or for me, it'll be like, that's the reason why I continue to do these podcasts, because for me, I'm similar to you guys. Like I'm allowing this to be a platform for people to share their stories, to come on board and share their story. And then people start to follow you. Yeah,
everyone wants to know.
100%.
Everyone wants to know your vulnerabilities.
Yeah.
So and it keeps them interested.
Yeah.
Like even going to work and then something happens at work, I always remember, be grateful you have a job.
Yeah.
Just be grateful.
100%.
On the roads, someone cuts you off. You're still alive. I mean,
It's lucky you didn't crash.
I rage, but then I think. Get home.
Yeah, thank you, Lord. Yeah. No, it's good. So what I want to do now, right? You guys shared a bit about your story, and I feel like it's enough. I feel like that's enough for people to understand, okay?
Yeah, I feel like...
Nah, trust me. I believe that there are going to be people that are going to be inspired by this, especially with your relationship. Like, the reason why I keep talking about it is because it's rare. It's rare. I keep saying it, and it is. You don't see much, mother-daughter, let's say, for example, a mother-daughter running a business. Or you don't see a mother-daughter, doing a music video reaction. And even that, you don't see mother and daughter even hanging out. And actually spending time. So what you guys are doing something that, like, a lot of, like, let's say, I believe there's a lot of mothers out there that do want what you guys have. And I feel like there are daughters out there, or even that, like young people that want what you have in terms of Caitlyn, like, Caitlyn having that relationship. And to be honest, like, if I had to be real, a lot of people don't see it because you only see what you see. You know what I mean? Like, we only see things from the lens that we see from our vision. So from what you guys see, like, it's cool to see it from a third person perspective. And that's what people are going to see now. People are going to listen to your story, and then they're going to be like, wow, like, I want to have that relationship now. But obviously you needed a platform. You needed a platform to share your story. So that's the reason why I love bringing people like yourself on, to jump on board and share your story, because people don't realize that, I believe in this. I heard this from a guy named Ed Miley, and I love, like, I'm in an entrepreneurship journey. And so I love listening to, like, really successful people. And there's a guy named Ed Miley, and he says, facts tells, but story sells. right? So you can just tell your facts, right? And like, if I had to be real here, sorry to all the parents, but I'm just gonna be real right now. You will know within yourself, right? Your kids will learn. Your kids will learn more if you tell your story on why you didn't do what you did. You know, why you shouldn't be doing it, as opposed to just telling you don't do it. And just telling you the facts. Like, there is so much power in telling the story behind the reasons why you shouldn't do it. And I feel like, Mum, I feel like you've done that. I feel like you've done that really well. With that.
It's no point saying no, you can't go. You know, stuff like that. Got to explain your reasons why, so they understand and see it through your eyes.
Yeah, and she's always been doing that, explaining why, which was good for me.
Yeah. And like, you know what's cool? Like, I'm learning, I'm learning that now. I'm learning, thinking to myself, when I have my own children, like, I'm going to be focusing on just telling my stories. Like, I'm not going to be, because, when I was growing up, I have like 2 younger siblings, and all I'll do is be like, don't do this. Like, don't do that to them. And then I started to learn, I'm like, you know what? I'll share my story. And then like literally changes, like it literally flips it. And then they're like, okay, I'm not going to do it. And like, it was funny, I was talking because I have a little sister, and she's the only sister. So in our family, you've got 4 boys and 1 girl, and like for us, like she's the princess. Yeah. So and like she knows now, like, yeah, this is the reason why I don't go out, or this is the reason why I'm not gonna have a boyfriend at this age, because she knows like how protective we are, but we tell her the reason why, why we are. I guess some of my other brothers, that some of them don't, but that's fine. But for me personally, I love to share stories and be like, I'll tell you the reason why. I was in a relationship, and I did things, and I hurt my ex and certain things like that, and I tell her, like, I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to find someone, my old me, that I had. And she starts to think and be like, oh, okay, like, thank you. Thank you for sharing that to me. And she's only 14, like, she's really young. But I'd rather her understand now, so that when she gets to my age, she doesn't have to stress out half the amount of like the feeling.
You're not going, no, you can't go out there, guys. She's going to sit there and bottle their anger, or rebel. You don't want them to rebel. We have to break that cycle. My parents used to go, no, don't do that.
Yeah.
And I'm breaking that cycle by, no, you can't do that, because you need to do, because this is what happens, so forth. You need to break that cycle, because every era is different.
Yeah.
You have to change it. You have to
be open-minded
and speak on your level, their level. Every era is different. The times, I guess.
Yeah, no, for sure. And so, that's the reason why I love this. Like, I love, getting people to share their story, because they won't realize. And there's been a lot of special guests that's jumped on board, and they're like, man, I actually listened to my own podcast, and I'm like, wow, this sounds like a pretty cool guy. I'm like, bro, you are cool. Like, so I'm learning now. I've been running this podcast show since August of last year, so we're getting close to 1 year of doing this. And like, long story short, I came to a point where I was actually going to give this up. I was going to give this up in February, because I wasn't getting the results that I was getting. And so every time I get someone on, and every time I do an interview, or like a special guest interview and a talk, I always think about, just remember that time. Remember that time that you were going to give up, right?
We all go through that.
Yeah, 100%.
Times where we just want to, just stop, go up, and it's just like,
there's times where I see like she's not in the mood, and I go, okay, stop for today, do it tomorrow or the day after, depending on how our moods are, because you don't want to sit in front of the camera and then pretend.
Be fake,
you're all into it, so that everyone can feel it too, the music and the truth and what we're saying. But it's not you jumping on and just going,
and when someone's watching,
what's up, everybody, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's totally good. So yeah, like, I guess my encouragement to you is to just like always understand that like your story is it's important, and I believe that it will impact people. Like, I know for sure I'm gonna tell my mum this. I'm gonna tell my mum and be like, Mum, listen to this. And I do this all the time. Like, after I finish this, I go share it to my mum. And I tell mum, oh mum, I just had a conversation with this, and she listens. She listens to it straight away. And so she's like, I would say, like, kind of like my backbone to this, because after I finish here, I go straight to her and be like, oh mom, I just had a conversation about this. And then the cool thing is, like, I looked this just recently. It's like there's a difference between hearing things and actually, hearing things. Like you can hear something, but there's a difference between like a heard and a hear. That makes sense?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? So I can just, hear and be like, oh yeah, sweet. But there's a difference between actually listening to it as opposed to actually listening to it and actually doing something about it.
Yeah.
And so I love doing that when I go to my mum. I would be like, oh mum, I've done this and I spoke to these types of people, and then she starts listening to it because she's like, I want to know more.
Yeah.
And it's like little things like that. And I'm starting to realize that the podcast show of me doing this and continuing to push out content is actually impacting my family.
Yeah.
And I did not even realize, like, my vision was just to impact the one. And now I'm not realizing that he's impacting the one, like, as in my family.
It's
my family.
Yeah.
Music reactions, like, our biggest critic is my brother.
Yeah.
And he will judge and tell us, just give it to us real, and we'll go, okay.
He always, bring us down to earth and stuff like that.
If we miss a bar, he'll go, you missed the bar. Sorry, it's our initial reaction.
Yeah. Now, even that, like, I feel like it's good. Like, as you mentioned with your brother, like, it's good to have people like that will sharpen you.
Yeah.
That will tell you for what it is, because then what will happen is I feel like, when there's a moment where you start feeling stagnant, and when things start to just, or even that, or like when you're on a high, actually, like you could be on like such a high in life, but if you don't have someone that are sharpening you, guess what's going to happen? You're just going to go back down. So you need someone to just keep you leveled. And I feel like people need that. I feel like people need someone to go to. I shared just yesterday. I shared on a story like a message on, like, stop reacting and start being proactive. And just a bit of context behind that. Like, I started to feel like, and I think you guys would know what happened, with Solomone, with the family, stuff like that. And what I done, right? And I'm not saying that this is the way to do it, but I knew within myself that, for us polys, we're like, one thing we're really good at is reacting. Both positively and negatively. You know what I mean? So I started to think about that, and I'm like, okay, what can I do differently? What can I do differently in this? And I was like, you know what? I can be proactive. And I'll be like, I will, instead of just reacting to it, I'll go into my own, like, private room, or my, in my own kind of, time, and just process. Allow it to process into my system. And I ended up, talking in a message that I had no clue what I was talking about. But I started to realize how effective it was, because people would start saying to me, like, yes, that's what I need to do. And I feel like there's a lot of people out there that need to be proactive, that need to focus on, controlling their emotions and actually doing something about it.
It does.
Yeah.
Like, I tend to do that as well. Like what you just said, I tend to react more than actually doing things about, a situation, stuff like that.
I guess a lot of people just need to, like, if they come across something on social media, think first.
Yeah.
Read it. Look behind the meaning of it. Don't quick straight away show your negativity. You don't know what maybe that person's talking from their experience, or something, stuff like that. Social media could twist things around. You could get the good and the bad. Microwave reactions. Negativity comes with it. So we're kind of used to the comments that we get. We just
know everyone's different.
Thank you. Have a blessed day, and then carry on. We'll try not to let it get to us, because if you don't let one person get to you, that's it for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
It just matters. And you're wasting energy as well, You're really wasting energy.
Yeah.
And it's our own people bringing us down. Sad thing for me.
I spoke about that. I actually spoke about that yesterday. I said that, it's funny, because it's usually your own people are the most, and like, it's not just, poly, but like more so like your family. Like, usually, like, family's the first in everything. like they're the first in your life, and they're the first one that brings up the problems. But it's cool, because I started to learn at it like a couple of years ago. I started to learn that like, my brothers are only saying it, like, because that was the only way they could verbally say, Like, you know, they'll tell me like, you know, Josh, like, you know, you're always stuck up or something like that. But because they didn't know how to kind of express it in a loving way, that was their loving way of sharing it. You know, I'm like, bro, I'm just telling you because you don't know. Like, you don't know this. And like, it's funny, I was having a conversation with, like with my brother yesterday, and I'm thinking to myself, our conversations are so much different now than like a few years ago. Because at the moment, like, you know, he would share things to me saying, like, you know, hey bro, I shouldn't say you're doing a good job. I'm like, hey, like this guy's what? And like, he's listening to this, you know, he listens to the podcast, and I'm thinking to myself, man, if this is impacting my family, I'm gonna keep going. Because like, I didn't know that this was gonna happen. And sometimes it only takes one, you know, sometimes it only takes one person, and I'm starting to realize that now. Why I should continue to do this. And you know, it's not gonna just impact my family. It's like I'm wanting to impact, you know, our own people. And it's starting to happen. Like, I'm getting countless messages, people saying like, I can't thank you enough for doing this, I keep going. And I'm thinking to my head, I'm like, Josh, there was a point where you were gonna let this all go. There was a certain point. And so I guess the question I want to ask you guys on this is, what keeps you going? You know, what keeps you going? I wouldn't say just with the music reaction videos that you guys do, but in general, what really keeps you going? You know, when the going gets tough, you know, Mum, you might come in from work and feeling absolutely like drenched and like just like gone. Or Caitlyn, you might be really stressed out. Like, what really allows you to like come home and be like, wow, like this is the one thing that keeps me going. What's that one thing?
Just the fact that people, you know, take the time to even watch our videos, and, you know, the positive comments that they leave saying that, you know, we're doing well, you know, keep doing it, don't give up. The fact that people are constantly giving us, you know, songs to react to where they're like really excited about it. They're like, oh my gosh, I really want you to react to this. I want to see what you think about it. And it's just like, man, people really, you know, care about like what we think, that we have an impact and stuff like that.
No, that's true. Like, I was thinking, what does keep us going? Because I know what I do to encourage her to come on, let's go, baby, let's go do this. But then as soon as we watch, you know, we go through the analytics and we read comments, they'll go, oh, come on, we need to do this.
Come on.
Someone wants to see more. And they go, oh, love your reactions, or we love your relationship with Mum. So like, come on, baby, come on.
And it's also just making memories too, like with my mum, something to look back on and be like, yes, man, I did this with my mum. We made this together, you know.
Come on.
We broke this, like, you know. It's just, I guess that's one of the reasons, as well as my mum. She's always pushing me. She's really my backbone, as your mum is to you.
Yeah, come on.
She pushes me all the time. I'm a big procrastinator as well, so she's the one that's like, come on, hurry. So my mum's another reason as well. But
like, we started this channel, like, I forced her into starting YouTube. Like I said before, I came out of a toxic relationship, so I forced her into this YouTube because she used to just sit in a room, and she just wasn't the bubbly person she was before I got into the relationship. So, like, my biggest regret was just, I mean, every day seeing her quiet, I'd ask her, she wouldn't open up to me, you know, stuff like that. So I wanted that daughter back. I wanted her back. So I went and got a camera off Gumtree. And I go, here's a camera, come on, start YouTube. I want to see that bubbly person, my daughter. I want to see my daughter again. So then she started it and hasn't stopped.
And it's a big thing. Like, YouTube was a big thing for me. Like, I didn't know about, you know, Islanders being on YouTube. I was more watching, you know, people in America, just seeing how good they're doing and how they, you know, buy their mum cars and stuff like that when they do well. So that's another thing I wanted to do for my mum. And once obviously went to Polytube, and just seeing a lot of other Islanders having that same goal as well. It just pushes you as well, because, you know, a lot of Islanders are in the same boat, and we all want to get to a certain destination, the same goal and stuff like that.
Yeah, I didn't realise there were a lot of polys.
I didn't realise how much there were.
Until, you know, she started going and seeing all these polys, typing in hashtag, poly, saying, well, this is good. You can get a lot more polys on here. Like, that's why we keep saying poly movement. Encourage our polys, please, please.
Because everyone else is promoting everyone else. We can be the ones that just react to our own people.
No, I love it. Oh, I love that story. I love the story that, like Mum, like, you ended up looking for a means, like, you were proactive. Like, you ended up finding a way. Like, I always believe that if you can't find a way, make a way. And I feel like you've done that. I feel like you've done that really well, because what you've done was you seen the issue. You seen the issue, you know, Caitlyn wasn't, you know, real bubbly. And then what you done was you made the solution. You said, you know what, I'm going to get a camera and I'm actually going to get her to start YouTube. Now, funny enough, there's if I had to be real, there's a lot of people that would diss this. They'll be like, that's not the way you should do it. And then the question I always say is like, either way, right? If it works, it works, right? If it works for her, then it works for her. Like, I don't feel like it's a one size fit all. I don't feel like this is for everyone, but anyone can do it.
Yeah,
anyone can do it. I think what people need to know, and I reckon this is good for parents and young people. Parents need to understand their children, and children need to understand their parents. And what will happen is, once you know how your children are, as a parent, then you'll start to realize, okay, I'll do this for them because I know them. Like, I know how it is. Like, there was no point. Like, I feel like, you know. Yeah, like, I feel like, you know, like my mum.
You need to know the look on their face, you know, by the mood.
She makes me inside out, man.
Yeah, like, I can just see her and it's just the way she'll look. Oh, no.
Yeah.
So you need to know your kids.
Yeah. And I feel like this is a really good message now, because like I've been looking on social media, and like a lot of people reacting to, you know, the issue that happened in Melbourne, with the stabbing. And like, in my mind, I'm like, you know what, like, you know, like you can talk about the drillers, you can put it on the drillers, you know, you can put it on the people and the artists and stuff like that. But the way I always say is, like, if you don't know their story, then you shouldn't say anything. You know, you shouldn't have like anything to say, because all you're doing is you're just going by what you see. It's more like you're only going by what they are, not who they are. Yeah, and that's the big difference.
Sometimes I get a bit too overboard and just go talk. But you know, if you don't know the story, if you don't know them personally, if you don't, whatever, don't talk. Just keep it to yourself.
Yeah. No, it's cool. That's cool. No, I'm so thankful that you guys jumped on board. And I guess you know, the last couple of questions I want to ask is, I actually want to talk about your music, you know, your music reaction videos and stuff. Like, that was the whole purpose of you coming on board. But what I love to do is I love to get people on here to share their story, you know, so people understand who you guys are as opposed to what you do. I'm always about that, you know. I'm always about, like, you know, you guys may have a title, you know, you guys may have like, this is what I do, but there's always the background behind it. Like, no, this is who I am. And I feel like there are a lot of people out there. And like, cool thing is, you can use this in anything. Like, you can use this in your, you know, your relationship. Like, you know, instead of focusing on what they do, like, you know, like, I don't know, this might hit someone. This might hurt someone actually. But like, you know, say for example, you know, you're wanting to date a footy player, and it's like you're only dating them because of what they do.
Yeah.
You know, and what happens is you end up being in a relationship because of what they are doing. But then what happens when that goes? You know, what happens when that's stripped away? You know, what happens if their contract is gone? Guess what happens? You don't even know who they are, and you're still with them. And then what's gonna happen is you're gonna feel unhappy because, like, you know, your needs aren't being met. And so as a result, you start getting, you know, upset. You start getting depressed, and you're like, you know what, I want to leave this. And it all stemmed from you not knowing who they were. And who they are. So that's the reason why I love sharing this. Like, I love getting you guys to share your story, because now we can get into the real talk. Like, we can start talking about, you know, this is where the fun happens actually. And I always like keeping it at the end. So can you guys talk to us quickly, or just like give us a brief like introduction on how this all started? Because I know that, you know, you guys talked briefly about the camera and about, you know, Mum getting the camera, and then, you know, you, Caitlyn, starting YouTube and vlogs. But where did it actually all originate from? Because I feel like, you know, you guys doing your reactions, you know, you guys doing your music reactions, I feel like this was happening, or this probably happened beforehand. Like, Mum was saying that she loves music and she loves listening to different types of music. My mum is the same. Like, when she was in high school, people would call her like the DJ, because she would have all these like different genres and different music. And so, yeah, could you guys share to us on how this all started?
I think because she tried, when we came back from the poly trip in New Zealand last year, she goes, Mum, we should do reactions, let's do reactions. And I was going, the only thing I want to react to is dash cam.
Oh, dash cam.
That really gets me
rough you up,
going.
eh?
Dash cam. Yeah.
You get a good reaction from her too.
We'll be watching it a few times, and my brother and my sister-in-law will be going, turn it off, your high blood pressure. And I'm going, no, I want to watch it, I want to watch, damn it, and like, you know, really get into it. But then, was it you? The music? Someone, Tinania family in Perth, they have channel 2. They suggested, you know, reacting to music, so that's where it just started. We thought we'd start it as a test trial just for a month and see how it goes. And the response from it was like, do this song, do this one next, do this one next.
And we're quite overwhelmed too. We're just whoa, one at a time.
And then it got to comments where they're saying, oh, mum's face looking at you, blah, blah, blah. And I'm going,
Island mum thing, you know what I mean? And I
think
like as well, like seeing an island mum, you know, they're just like, oh, she relates to my mum. And it's really cool.
I used to think, people don't want to see me look at you and go, see? but reading the comments and go, oh my gosh, at least I know there's a lot more, you know, island families out there who do, where their mums do that to them.
It's a mum thingy. Yeah, and that's basically when we just started doing videos. And we just, once we did that test trial and it went well, we're just like, we'll keep going. Do it for another month, and here we are, we're still doing it. Yeah.
It's really the subscribers who keep us going. Yeah, when no matter what day, we don't really have bad days, but just coming home and reading the comments and goes, oh, we need to do this. They take the time to comment and request. The least we could do is this for them.
And just seeing the poly-talent come in as well. It's just like fascinating what they have coming out with. It's like, oh my gosh, they have this. Oh my gosh, they reckon.
And especially music from America too.
Yeah.
So once America stepped in and requested music, we thought, this is a good idea. We can share poly movement out to them and share their music out to this side. Northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere. Try and unite and make polys think, you know, help uplift each other and
not have that beef.
Share the love.
Yeah. No, I love that you just shared just then about beef. Because
I feel like us New Zealand have a lot of beef with those in America, and I feel like it's like sort of unnecessary as well.
But then there's also the beef like with rugby league.
Yo.
That's another story, but you know it's just banter. It's not real violent hate. Nice beef. New South Wales.
No, I actually laugh. I laugh because like I feel like people and like you know, I started learning this like just last year. I started to realize with our people, right, the only reason why we like the beef is because it's juicy. You know, it's like, oh, you know, this is really good. Like, I'll be real, right? Like, when I was growing up, I was like a real cheeky kid. Like, but like my younger brother was cheekier than me. But for me, I would get away with things because I was like, you know, I was like Mr. Mr. Nice Boy. You know, like always getting the good grades and stuff, and I would get away with things. And I started to realize that, you know, one thing I really loved was like beef. I loved it. And so what I would do, right, and like this is me being real, you know, what I would do is I would like milk it. Keep going. I'll feed onto it, right? You know, be like, keep going. And then I started to realize like how much of a hindrance it made. Like it actually hindered people, and it started to become a negative. I didn't know that though. I needed people around me to kind of tell me like, do you realize what you're doing? And I'm like, no, but it's cool. And it's like, yeah, it'd be cool. It'd be cool if you're in a movie. Like, if it was a movie and you're just doing it as part of an act. But you're doing it for real. And I'm like, wow. And
some people could relate to it. Some people, you know, coming from experiences, so that's why you get that negative feedback. Just people start distancing themselves from you.
And I think like I'm learning right now that I guess that's the probably one of the reasons why you guys like reacting. You know, why you guys like doing a reaction, because let's be real here, you know, it'd probably be best for you guys to react like on a camera visually so people know exactly how you guys feel, as opposed to doing it off camera and then just talking about it to other people. You know, these guys are whack, because obviously it ends up turning into gossip, right? And obviously we know how toxic that is. Like, we know how toxic that is, right? But I love that, and that's the reason why I was watching some of your stuff, and I was like, people don't realize how empowering it is for what they're doing. You know, the reactions that they're making, because they're doing it on camera. People get to see visually, and so it's like I reckon if you guys are doing it off camera and you guys started talking to other people about it, and it wasn't edifying, or if it wasn't helpful for them, that would be considered gossip. But let's say for you guys have been sharing, you know, the real reactions, like, oh, you know, like, I feel like these guys can do it a lot better, sort of things like that. Like, people don't realize how, like, I reckon artists are starting to realize how important reactions are now.
Well, we don't really, like, there was a post a few weeks ago, last week or a few weeks ago, stating that if it wasn't for reactors, then music wouldn't get recognised. That's not what we do it for. We do it because poly movement.
Come on.
I mean,
just to help spread
that comment alone made me feel real stink.
Yeah,
like
they don't have to.
They're not doing well because of us. No way.
They didn't beg us to do it. Like, we do it because we want to push that
and
we're proud of it. You know,
like even with poly movement, like businesses.
Yes, come on.
Because we want to.
Yeah.
I mean, we buy our own merch. We support the poly. We don't ask for freebies.
Because you can't ask for freebies because
100%.
You've got to.
100%.
I hate that. I hate it when, like, say someone's got a business and then you go, "Well, cuz gives us a discount,"
and they get mad if you don't give them a discount. It's like, how do you expect the business to grow? Really? Like, you're not supporting it at all if you're doing that.
I mean, even if your family, you've got to cut that out. Support by paying your own stuff.
Yeah. No, I love that you guys shared that, because a couple of months ago I put up a post on my Instagram, and I was saying, like, you know, pay your mates in full. And like what I meant by that was, like, you know, if you're going out and, you know, you let's say you're going to a coffee shop and, you know, one of the boys are running their own coffee shop, like, you know, what mates rates actually means. People create their own way of saying mates rates. And it's like they believe that mates rates is like half price, you know, mates rates is a discount. No, you know what an actual mates rate is? It's paying more. You know, it's actually giving more than the average. So, you know, let's say, for example, I get a shirt and it's $60. It's like, I'm giving you $100. That's a mate rate, because it's more of a giving than a receiving. And I think a lot of people get, you know, caught up in that act of like, oh, I can't wait because I'm gonna get I'm gonna get a discount. And it's like, people don't realize that, like, you're not helping. It's a lose in this. Like, you're losing because you're getting it, like, you know, at a discounted price, and they're losing because they're losing business. You know, and it's not real and authentic. That's why I love what you guys are doing, and I already seen it. The first thing I'd see is like, I know what they're doing, and it's good. You know, it's not like a bad thing. It's like, I get it, because that's what I'm getting into right now. You know, one of the boys, he runs a disability service called Whatability. And I said, like, he ended up saying, I'm just gonna get merch, and I said to him, save me one. You know, I was like, save me one, because I'm gonna get one, and I'm gonna do similar to what you guys do. You know, and it's all about exposure. You know, exposing people and, you know, helping the brothers and sisters out. And like I feel like this is a platform for that. And I know that you guys understand, because you guys are doing the same thing.
Because she doesn't have much of a following on Insta, but, you know, with YouTube we can reach more people out global. And just showing merch, us wearing it, and just mentioning them. And just fingers crossed, hopefully we're helping. You know, even if for a bit, like, we just pray that we are helping. We try and ask for feedback just to see if we are helping, just so that maybe we need to change our way of promoting the business or something, just to help poly businesses. I know a lot of polys watch the reactions. Hopefully they'll be also purchasing.
And like, you never know. Like, you'll never know until you actually do it. You know,
it doesn't hurt. It's free.
It's free, yes.
I mean, we're not asking anyone for money or anything. It's free.
And I guess, like, I I'll just share on this quickly. I believe, right, and I reckon someone's going to be impacted by this. I can feel, because I'm getting impacted by it. That's the reason why I'm sharing it. Like,
Thank you, bro.
like what you guys are wearing right now, people don't realize that there's actually a story behind it.
Yeah.
You know, there's a story behind the Hood clothing company, or even that there's a story behind Life with Caitlyn. You know, there's a story behind the Impact Podcast Show. There's always a story, and my encouragement to anyone out there, whether you're doing a business or whether you're running a podcast or whether you're doing YouTube, whatever you're doing, always focus on the story, because people will rather buy the story than actually buy the product.
Yeah.
So that's my encouragement everyone out there. Like, if, like, for me personally, like, I wouldn't buy something if I didn't know the vision.
Yeah.
Hence the reason why I bought What Abilities merch, because I was like, no, tell me the story. What's your story behind it? Because I'm gonna buy your vision. I want to buy it in the vision, because that's the I learned that's the longevity side of it. Like, that's gonna be your long-term followers. You know, they're gonna continue to invest in you because they love your story.
Yeah.
And I feel like you guys have done that well in terms of your platform. You know, people are starting to understand, like, there's more to this. You know, there's more to their reactions. And, you know, some people might come for the music, you know, just because of, you know, you know, for example, Cheeky, like, I only jumped on. I didn't realize you guys until I jumped onto Eddie's. Like, Eddie said, oh, you know, these, you know, thank you for these guys for, you know, doing my reaction. I was like, oh, yo, I jumped on, and I'm like, I need these guys on. Because I looked at you two, and I was like, that is a very special bond that they have. And so, in saying that, right, like, I'm just going to start wrapping up now, because we've gone a lot over time, but it's totally fine.
It's your fault.
I'm so sorry, man. I'm so sorry. But I guess at this point, I guess what's the end goal for you know, the reaction videos? What's the end goal for this? Like, what's kind of like your dream vision or goal by the end of this?
For me, is to see her at the end of this independent and financially stable.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why we don't accept free merch. We pay our own way, because, well, to tell the truth, she is starting to get paid from her reactions. But we also want to that's why we pay for our merch. We pay with money she's getting from her reactions from YouTube. So what we're getting from here, from promoting the poly movement, poly artists, we're putting it back into poly businesses. That's what we're doing. What people don't realise, but we don't care. That's our story, and it's, as long as it makes us feel better, it's all good. But at the end of the day, for me, is to see her financially stable and
come on.
Just in case I go tomorrow, and, you know, it's a reality. I may not be around long, but I don't want to bury my child. At the end of the day, I don't want to bury my child. I have to go first, and I need to know that she's doing okay.
Well, for yearly goal this year, I was hoping to at least reach, like, you know, 20K. Another thing, just being able to, you know, get a wide audience, just being able to, again, promote our audience. If we can get a wide audience promoting, you know, our poly businesses, and that's all that matters, you know. All we want is for our poly businesses to thrive. You know, if we're going to thrive, we want other people to thrive as well, just to bring our poly people up.
Take everyone up there with us.
And we just want to share positive vibes. See, that's our goal. That's all we want to do, share positive vibes. I know as poly people, we tend to be quite negative a lot, and I want to change people's perspective on that. I want everyone to be positive, all of us to unite, put aside the beef and stuff like that. That's another goal. And yeah, you can do it with your family as well.
Yes.
It's positive, guys.
Come on. Come on. So guys, before we actually wrap up the podcast, there's one thing that I always like to do, and, you know, I feel like people are already getting impacted by this podcast, and I always love to leave this to the end. But I guess, you know, my question to you, just to finish this off, is what's an encouragement that you guys have, just for those out there? It can be anything that's on your heart that could, you know, potentially help people, so that we can help impact the one.
If, like, YouTube wise, if you're wanting to do YouTube and you feel like you're not confident on it or anything, as we said in Polytube Fauna, just pick up the camera and just do what you love doing. Once you do what you love doing, you can impact people. Be positive, stay focused, don't let anyone stop your grind, because, you know, that's just one way to fail. You just keep on your grind, keep positive.
If you have a goal, go for it.
Yeah.
Stay focused and go for it. Don't let anyone bring you down. No matter where it takes you, just remember where you started. Stay humble, stay grounded.
Yeah. Take that negative into consideration as what you can work on. Don't, get hate off of it. Use it as like a learning curve,
Don't worry about negativity. Just keep on pushing, because like you said, there could be that one person that actually is listening and that could love what you're doing.
Yeah.
So just go. Keep going.
And as you said, remember your why. Remember your why to why you started. There's always a brighter side at the end of the tunnel. You might not see it now, but you'll see it later. Just carry on going, push forward. Yeah.
It's not easy in the beginning, but
you'll see it later. You'll definitely see it later. But yeah.
Do you guys want to take over?
Sorry.
Nah, it's all good.
I feel like we're boring.
Nah, it's all good. No. I just want to say, like, I'm really inspired by your guys' story. I'm going to be listening to this. And one thing I always do is I always love listening to my own content. Like, it really brings back to my why.
Yeah.
And so, guys, if I'm listening to it, surely this is the reason why you should continue to listen to it. Because it's that good. And so, guys, I want to say thank you so much for jumping on board. I'm honestly so thankful, even that it is a Saturday, so you guys could be doing anything right now, but you chose to come on, so I want to say thank you so much. But I guess before we do finish up this, what's the best way that people can contact you?
Just in our Instagram, through our Instagram, Life of CaityB, we have a Instagram, we have a Facebook. We do have Twitter, but it's not really active. But if you have Twitter and you want to contact us through there, it's the same as our YouTube name, Life of CaityB. You can also just email us. We'll have it probably in our comments and in our description box of a lot of our videos, and just in the YouTube comment section.
I think the best way would be Instagram.
Yeah.
Everybody's on Instagram.
But if you're young and you don't have socials, YouTube comments, we check all of our comments.
Yeah, nice. And so, guys, for those that are listening on Spotify and Apple Podcast, just go directly to our Instagram page. And these guys will be on there. They'll actually be on our following list. So if you guys jump on Instagram, you'll see them on our following. If not on the following, you see them on our post, because they will be promoted through our platform. So, and also for those that are watching this through YouTube, they'll be down in the description below, and we'll have all their details in the description box. So that is it. But guys, I want to say thank you to everyone that is listening and watching this. And thank you guys so much. Yes, you guys can say one thing, 100%.
Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity to
100%.
tell everyone our whys
Our story.
and cry.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for reaching out.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah. Thank you for having us.
Stay blessed, everybody listening and watching.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm a wordsy guy, so that hits me hard.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But yeah, guys, that is all that we got. Thank you so much, ladies, for jumping on board. Thank you to everyone that's listening, and we'll see you guys in the next one.